Casey Steward, our guest from Clearwater. Minor league baseball season starts in a little over a week. Casey had a great run with the BlueClaws last summer. How are you?
Well, thank you for asking.
How was spring training?
It's been long for sure, but
Yeah.
it's been fun. It's been fun. It's nice to be in some warm weather for sure. So
When did you get down there?
I started in January. I got invited to uh, a camp back then, so it's been a minute.
Um, what kinds of things have you been working on for that long?
We got up here and just kind of started getting into the throwing program, and then we had one. They gave me one this off season, so I'd been built up pretty well to start going some high intent bullpens. I've been doing lives since January, so just kind of honing my craft of being consistent on the mound and throwing the hitters in the box.
So you were part of the spring breakout game a couple of weeks back against the Pirates. Threw well in that game. What was that whole elevated experience like?
That was one of the funnest games I've been in for sure. The environment was unreal, and it's always fun to be around elite talent like that and kind of get to show what you have to the world. So it was really fun.
How did you find out you were selected?
Uh, One of the pitching coordinators came up to me and kind of like told me about that, and he said he just kind of introduced it to me, and then about a day later, I was in a meeting, and they told everyone else I was in there.
Nice. Was everybody excited like when you guys found out, high fiving, cheering, that kind of thing?
Yeah, everyone was just kind of like just super pumped to be in it and was really excited about this opportunity that was in front of them.
And you won the game. Also
Yeah,
adds
that
another
was
layer of fun to
another
it.
big bonus for sure.
Yeah. Was that a game that you guys kind of like uh, ultimately it's spring training, but like was that, that's kind of that's a different part of spring training than the rest of it. Was that something that you guys were kind of like really focused on, treating it like a regular season game kind of thing?
Not really. They wanted us to do well and play well and show our talents and abilities, but at the end of the day, I think more of it was just like go about your days. Like the 2 weeks leading up to it is like go about your days how you would any day, and just continue to work on your craft. And then when you get to the game, show everyone what you got, play well, and hopefully come out with a chance to beat them. But it was just kind of like do your thing until then and make sure you're staying on top of all your stuff.
So you had 98 in that game, and you were up in the high 90s last summer when you were here. How has that velo progressed for you since you came into the system?
Um, it's been a work in progress for sure. When I first got into the system, they did some mechanical adjustments, and then last season I was kind of like focused on longevity and staying healthy, and it's a long season, and wanted to take it that way. And this off season, I worked with one of my buddies, Brain Pfeiffer, who really kind of like worked with me up close one on one a lot, and kind of did a lot of mechanical breakdowns and tried to move a lot more efficiently. And a lot of that credit goes to him because he was with me about every other day.
How do you think you progressed as a pitcher from April to September last year?
That was a lot. I learned a lot about myself and how to be a pitcher instead of a thrower, because I think being in college, I was just like I had some good pitches that I could just get by hitters, and going into pro ball was a lot different. Hitters have approaches, and they have pitches are really good at hitting, and was trying to find out um, what pitches they don't like hitting, and trying to become like more of a read swings, read contact kind of thing. So I learned a lot about myself from April to September.
When you came up to the Blue Claws in um, late June, did you notice a big adjustment in or a big difference in the quality of hitter? What was the biggest difference? Were they more patient, less likely to chase pitches? What was the difference that you had to deal with as you moved up the level?
The biggest difference was just hitters weren't chasing as much, especially in low A. They have younger guys, and you can get them to chase out the zone a little bit more, and then as you move up, and especially in high A, it was a little bit different. It was you have older guys, they kind of know what they want to hit and what they don't want to hit, and they can see spin a little bit better. So being able to get them to chase was a lot more difficult. So yeah.
So coming out of last fall into this spring, what were some of the things you wanted to focus on, to head into the start of the 2025 season?
Just to get more off speed in zone, pretty much. My fastball does pretty well in zone, I think. And so having, more than one off speed pitch in the zone consistently is going to help me get more weak contact and less walks. So
So what's your repertoire right now?
we got a four seam, sinker, slider, sweeper, changeup.
What's the difference between the slider and the sweeper?
Slider is more of it doesn't move as much. It's still like it's got some depth to it, but it's still like horizontal, and that'll be anywhere from 87 to 90. And my sweeper is a big pitch that moves horizontally and moves is slower, like 80, 83. So
How long have you thrown a sweeper?
since college,
Okay.
yeah,
What have the Phillies added anything to what you've been throwing?
they added that short slider pretty much, and the sinker. Those were the two pitches they gave me.
Is the slider like a cutter?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
know
That's
that
I kind of
I know a
sign
lot
it
of
as
guys
a
throw cutters. Yeah.
yeah. I kind of sign it as a cutter, but it's a gyro. So
From an analytics standpoint, and then I'm talking about individual pitch analytics. How much do you look at that? Spin rate, horizontal movement, vertical movement, all that stuff. How much do you look at that information, out of your bullpens or in your starts, and how much do you try to use that information to make those little minor tweaks between outings?
I'm not deep into analytics. I know that my sweeper moves a lot and my changeup is pretty good, but I mean, at the end of the day, it can tell me the bet like I throw like one of the best sweepers, but if hitters don't think it's that good, then it's not a good pitch. So I just try and just throw my stuff in zone and not worry about every single thing that I can get analytically, like spin rate, like horizontal break, vertical break, and as long as it misses a barrel, that's all I really care about.
You induced 9 double play ground balls last year. Obviously, you talk about that sinker. How important is it for you to keep the ball on the ground with that pitch?
That's one of the biggest pitches that helped me last year is knowing I could, knowing there's writing in the box and I'm down 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, that I can throw that low in the zone and get a weak contact or at least a ground ball and not have to walk a guy or give up a free 90 or, stuff like that. I think that's one of the biggest weapons that was added that the Phillies gave me.
And you can't give up or you're unlikely to give up a double or triple, and obviously a home run on a ground
Exactly.
ball. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tell me about Washburn College.
Washburn University is
University, sorry, my fault. Yeah, Washburn University.
in Topeka, Kansas. It's a D2 program, and it's not a big school. It's pretty small, but I really liked it. I enjoyed my time there, and yeah, it was really fun for me. It got me drafted. So
How did you end up there?
uh, I didn't have many offers out of high school. I had three. I had two JUCO offers, Cloud, and Cali, and then didn't really want to go the JUCO route, so I decided that Washington was the best fit. So I gave him a chance, and that's kind of how I kind of chose to go to Washburn.
And you stayed 4 years. Was there a time when you thought about maybe trying D1? Obviously, the portal, you can move around.
I hit the portal the year I got drafted that summer in 23, just kind of as leverage for the draft. But I thought about it, and because I had a good season and I didn't know if I was going to get drafted or not. So I was like, might as well take my talents elsewhere, see if I can get more recognition and put myself out there a little bit more.
The way when they moved the draft, it changed the process for all of you guys because the draft used to be in early June,
Mhm.
and for some teams the season was still going on. But either way, school had just ended or whatever. But now they move it to late July. You almost have to, like, so many guys almost have to enter the portal as protection in case they don't get drafted because you just don't, you don't know what happens if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So you get drafted in 2023. What was that like? Did you think the Phillies were? If I told you before the day that you were going to get taken, would the Phillies have been on the short list of teams that you gave me that would have drafted you?
They were, I think, one of the first teams, if not the first team, to reach out to me, um, showing interest. So I was like, that was pretty awesome that the first team was the one that ended up taking me. So
How did you find out you got selected?
I was following the draft tracker on online, and I had told got told I was going to go like a round earlier or something. So like I think around 18 is when they told me they were gonna select me, and that didn't happen. So in the back of my mind, I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to find a school I got to go to, go back to school for one more year, and hopefully that works. And then I'm looking at the round 19, and I see my name get um, drawn, and I'm like, just kind of like it's surreal feeling. I didn't know if it was real or not, and then get a call a couple minutes later from my area scout Justin Munson saying that I'd been drafted.
Were you with your parents, family members?
I was with my parents and immediate family.
And what were they? Were they overjoyed? I mean, obviously that's a
Yeah,
lifelong goal. What was the atmosphere in the room like?
it was it was surreal. Everyone was so excited for me in that moment, and lots of hugs, lots of applause and cheering, and it was a lot of fun.
Was when you were growing up in Kansas, was there a pitcher that you like to model your game after, like that you liked watching? Were you a big Royals fan? What was your young baseball um, fandom like?
I was a big Royals fan, but I never really saw myself as a pitcher until I got to college, and they made me a PO. But I liked like the first player I liked watching was Alfonso Soriano when I first got into baseball. And then, just kind of was big into hitters, Ortiz, Cabrera, just mainly hitters at the time. So
Did you play both ways in high school?
I did. I didn't really pitch hardly at all in high school.
Hmm. So how'd you end up pitching? Obviously, you're a big guy, you can throw
Yeah.
hard. But is
Yeah.
that kind of just they needed a guy one day? How did it work out?
So when I go to like, I went to the Washburn like showcase kind of, and I'd pitched a little in high school, so I thought I'd show every talent I can. So I got on the mound and threw well, but they recruited me as a corner infielder slash pitcher, but I was kind of more of a corner infielder at the time. And then I got injured going into my freshman year. I had thoracic outlet syndrome. So came back from that and was mainly just a corner infielder, did that, played summer ball because they wanted me to get some innings. Threw innings, a lot of innings, and then came back and I made the jump of throwing like 90, 92, and they kind of like, all right, well, we kind of see you as a pitcher right now, and think that'd be the best path for you, and kind of gave up the bat. So
If um your team needed somebody to pinch hit, could you hold your own in there and in A ball?
absolutely not. I'm way those guys are way too good for me to say yes. And the pitchers are way too good, and I haven't swung a bat in years. So
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'd like to think that I could, but realistically I know I couldn't.
So spring training this year, give me a guy or two that you faced in an inner squad that you think is going to have a big year. Maybe a guy that you had a tough time getting out in an inter squad scrimmage.
Um I mean, Keenan Anthony's always a guy you don't want to see in the box. I mean, he played for BlueClaws and got up
Hmm.
to Reading, and he's always a tough AB. I faced Tait, who's a prospect, and he's a guy that has really, really, really fast hands, good bat to ball contact, really good approach for how young he is too. Um, those are the two main guys that I remember facing that are just like I don't want to face those guys right now.
Who's a pitcher or two who's the ball's popping a little bit out of their hand in the bullpen that you've seen,
Out of the bullpen,
or on the in a bullpen session, or in a game or whatever that you've seen that looks much improved this year.
mm, I think. I mean, Ethan Chenault looks pretty good. He's got a couple new pitches that I think are really going to help him out a lot. He's worked a lot this offseason, and I work with him sometimes, and we kind of bounce ideas off each other. Uh, One guy who I think is going to do really good this year for BlueClaws is I'd assume he'd get up there. I have no idea yet, but as Mavis Graves, he had a really good year last year. He's just a really good pitcher. He knows how to throw the ball, and um, he's always done pretty good. And I like to watch him throw as well.
What are your goals for the season?
Just to stay healthy and have fun. Those are always my goals when playing this game because it's easy to get wrapped up in when you're doing good and when you're doing bad and kind of ride the good and the bad, but just try and have fun and stay healthy because those are the two most important things when I think playing baseball.
Is having fun seems easy to say, hard to do
Yes,
when you're playing
absolutely.
professional, playing
Yeah.
competing athletically at the professional level.
Yeah.
How did that was that something that you always had in your head when you got like from when you got drafted? Was it a lesson you learned? How did that come to the top of of your mind?
There was my second year at Washburn. I had a pretty rough year, and we had gone to the conference championship and we lost, and that was pretty frustrating. And then I went to the draft league and wasn't throwing well, and Vila was down, and I was just kind of thinking, I was like, I mean, baseball's probably not going to work out for me. Like, I was just in a like deep place. I was just like a pity party, pretty much. I was like, this isn't fun for me right now. And then I went through that after the draft league. I kind of was like, all right, I took a step back and I was like, I just want to have fun. I want to go out there and not worry about what happens or what the outcome is or what my velo is and just go out there and throw and have fun. So going into my last year at Washington, I was just wanted to have as much fun as possible. And I think that really helped me kind of find my passion and love for the game again.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. What's your favorite part of spring training? Don't say the end.
Um, the end obviously is number one, but it's also seeing everybody else that seeing um, how talented the organization is and seeing and learning from people above you and people around you and all the coaches that are there. There's just so much knowledge at one place that there's so much to learn. So I think that's one of the best parts about it that doesn't get talked about. It's just how much you can learn in a month.
Who are some of the coaches or coordinators or whoever that have it really helped influence you and helped you grow as a player since you came into the system?
Recently it's been Ryan Buchter, who'll be the coach at high A.
Hmm.
I really like working with him. He's very sincere when he talks. He's always looking out for the best of each pitcher, and he also knows how to help you relax and have fun. Um, Another guy I really liked was Elmeyer. He was a pitching coach in high A too, and he's
Yeah,
also another guy who just
he'll be at
can.
Lehigh.
Yeah, he'll be at Lehigh. He's just a guy who can just really simplify it and make it sound super simple. And when I'm overthinking or when things aren't just kind of, I'm so close to figuring out. He just has the last bit of information that I need to help me understand it.
Well, Casey, thanks so much for a few minutes. Don't want to keep you. Obviously, a big week. You guys will fly out to your destinations this weekend, I guess. And Blue Claws will play Reading in an exhibition game on Tuesday, April 1st, up in Reading. So that'll be fun. Thanks for a few minutes. Keep up the great work and have a great 2025.
Thank you. You as well.